questions are going to be about traffic in Chino Hills. The first one will deal with general traffic issues. The second one will deal with Carbon Canyon. So first one for Debbie Hernandez. What is your position on traffic and congestion throughout the city?
Well, like most cities in Southern California, we all have to deal with some level of traffic. The upcoming improvements to Peyton Drive, I think, will go a long way towards helping alleviate some of those issues that we have. A lot of people avoid it because until the improvements are done, it backs up there. So a lot of people are on Chino Hills Parkway. Beyond just the traffic within our city, we have a larger issue of area congestion. And Chino Hills is, since we sit here at the apex of 4 counties, we become a great alternate route for everyone. We need to be working with the county and the state to help improve circulation throughout the area so that people will stay on the freeways and help alleviate some of the traffic through Chino Hills. We're just a thoroughfare and an alternate route. We need to work on that.
Specifically Carbon Canyon, and Carbon Canyon does have issues. I've lived in Carbon Canyon for 27 years. My wife jumps out every day and heads to Newport Beach, and she comes back. Carbon Canyon, depending upon the time of the year, can be terrible for those periods of time, let's say from 6 in the morning until 8:30 in the morning, and then vice versa. There's real issues, and Debbie hit it also. We are a pass-through city, as Diamond Bar is, and people are coming from Chino and Ontario and Montclair to cut the route through Brea. And it's an issue, and that state highway will always be a 2-laner. So I don't know how to alleviate that, and I live in the middle of it. So it's a tough one. So just to encourage, but we are working, Debbie mentioned, to work with the state and federal agencies. We do that all the time. We are at a disadvantage where we are because we're at the 4 corners in a sense. Riverside, well, we'll get to the 71 in a bit, or that area, but Riverside doesn't want to work with us because it doesn't mean it. We don't mean anything to them to head down the 71 towards the 91. So it's always an issue just where we're at.
I think short term, something that the city could do pretty quickly to address congestion in our city, and that is there are 3 major streets in Chino Hills that has a conglomeration of traffic lights. Chino Hills Parkway, Grand, and also Peyton. There's like stoplight one after the other. And I don't think it's a big expense to just synchronize those lights so that motorists traveling those streets can hit several stoplights or green lights and not be stopping on every stoplight. So that's one thing that can be done pretty quickly. In the long term, we really need to address a long, comprehensive plan in addressing traffic in our city, especially now that we are building more houses, and we will build more houses. So we need to develop another route in and out of our community, and so that will address a long-term traffic congestion in our community. Thank you.
I'm also one of the fortunate people that live in Carbon Canyon, and it's probably the worst traffic location of all of Chino Hills. But Chino Hills is not the problem. It's outside of Chino Hills. I'm talking about College Park. I'm talking about preserving the city of Chino. I'm talking about Ontario colonies. Within the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to have 350,000 more people living in those areas, which is going to impact Chino Hills. We need to start being proactive. We need to start talking to government officials, different cities, to come out with a regional plan for traffic control in Chino Hills. Again, we're just one of the cities that are being impacted. But we need to start doing something today, not wait till tomorrow when there's a bigger problem.
Okay, well, we could start by not doing multi-density. Let's start there. We've already changed a couple of zoning where we went from single family to multi-density. We have a traffic congestion problem, especially after 71. And we need to stop building increasing density. That could be a start. It doesn't look like we're going in that direction right now. And that is one of the reasons I am running for city council.
I feel we need to address that issue. In regards to Carbon Canyon, it is unfortunate that we do have all that traffic. I don't know what the answer is, but I do believe we do need to continue to address it and be proactive, as Mr. Marquez said. But we can start now by not rezoning to multi-density. Thank you.
And then the next traffic question about Carbon Canyon, beginning with Mr. Peter Waters. With the existing traffic congestion along Carbon Canyon, do you support more construction in that area?
Well, construction comes with the price of the canyon, in a sense. The project that's under construction right now, what we call the ski slope, was approved by the county, two-thirds of it was approved by the county, and then the last phase of it was approved in 1996. So that one, we can't get around that 76 homes. There's a couple of others that are being proposed, and they have to be analyzed. But I'll tell you, anytime you build a development, it's going to put more traffic into Carbon Canyon. So, you know, this is a tough one again, because even though it's very rural there are people that own properties that have the right to build. So we just have to vet the whole project and determine what impacts are going to take place on Carbon Canyon Road, which I think we know the answer to that, and how many homes are coming in to make that a reality or not. And even one that's being proposed may put a traffic light in at near the Circle K, which some of us don't like, some of us like. People live in Western Hills, Oak Tree Downs, they would welcome that.
Yeah, it's really a tough issue with Carbon Canyon because there's really no other way to widen the road or the highway. The only solution that I can see there is for us to really develop another route in and out of Chino Hills, one. Number two, because of our job commuters traveling those routes to get to Orange County and get to their high-paying job, if we create a good economic base in our community where we can hire those highly educated residents and professionals, they don't have to travel to Carbon Canyon. They can work within our city. And they can spend more time in our city. They can spend more money in our city. So the traffic problem will be solved. I think that's the way that we can solve the problem, not widen the road, not prevent any more growth, because there's really no place to put more houses up there. So build more economic base for Chino Hills. Right now we don't have any, except maybe the great outdoor which is bought by Kaiser. We don't have another apple waiting to fall off the tree so that we can get more employment for our residents. Our residents is just based on blue collar or service jobs. Thank you.
Once again, I want to say this again. As far as Carbon Canyon, 70% of the traffic comes outside of Carbon Canyon. As far as development in Carbon Canyon, I believe people have property rights. We're not a Gestapo state. People have rights. We can lower density to lower the amount of traffic in Carbon Canyon, which I think we're going to do in the future. But we have a problem. We need lights in Carbon Canyon, but if you talk to the people in Carbon Canyon, they don't want lights. So what do? You know, once again, I think Mr. Afonso mentioned it earlier, that we need to start looking at other options outside of Carbon Canyon to alleviate the traffic from going towards Carbon Canyon to go outside, such as Tonner Canyon, Soco Canyon, continuation. But those are expensive roads. If you talk about Tres Hermanos, you don't want to have major density there. In order to build those type of roads, you're going to need density.
Just to answer the question, no, I'm not in support of more construction on Carbon Canyon. If we could stop construction, I would definitely stop construction. However, as Mr. Marquez says, we do have limitations, so we can reduce the density, let's reduce the density. I was opposed to the Madrona project, which I believe Mr. Goodwin, who's in the back here, tried to get involved, and unfortunately we don't have jurisdiction out there, but we got to do what we can. That's the end. At the end of the day, we got to do what we can. We can't stop construction, and we better reduce the density. Thank you.
Again, this is an opportunity for us to get somewhat creative, as everyone has said prior. Excuse me. It is a tough topic. There are property rights involved. Building an alternate route sounds easy. not the easiest thing to do. Trace Hermanos is a perfect example of that. We do have roads in the master plan from way back, but you can't just build things anymore. There's laws, there's regulations, there's land use, environmental. But one of the things we can do is, on these new projects, look at the density levels, try and reduce them. I know we've got some issues that have to be addressed, but simply increasing density to solve problems that we could have been creative on years ago is not the answer today.